Are here. Thanks for being here. I can tell you that the Big Ten loves having Nebraska here because they know they're going to get a great turnout from media. So it's a big deal.
They're far from Michigan going right now, but it emptied the room. They're going into fall camp too. What are your priorities? We need them to be able to work with them for a month too. To give them workout plans, or what are you kind of expecting when fall camp starts next week?
It's a great question. We're going to start off. We've got a lot of decisions to make and lineup decisions to make. I know a little bit more after Brazil, but it's still not sure exactly what we want to do. So we're going to spend the next few days as a staff kind of deciding how we want to start and get going. Because our window is so short. I mean, 3 weeks we're playing.
Is this a different fall camp because the team's been together completely for the past 8 months too? Does it have a different feel than previous years because of that?
I don't know. I never remember.
Or do you prepare for it differently, knowing that you've had all this the whole year kind of work together?
I can tell you this: we're going to do less two-a-days because I feel like this team is pretty far ahead of where their skills are, knowing what we need to do. They've had a lot of reps, so I give the roping horse analogy. The older horses, you kind of come out, you do about 6 steers, and then they do good, you put them away. The younger ones, you're doing 20 steers, and I think these guys are at a point right now where we're going to just be figuring out our lineup. They know what they need to do. It's very competitive, and let them go out a little bit and try to decide some things and see, because now they're going to feel the pressure. Brazil is no pressure. Now it's like, okay, we got 2 weeks and we're playing. So they're going to feel, I think, the pressure of having to prove themselves. So we'll see how it works out. But I can tell you this: everybody can play. There's not one person I'm thinking like, oh, we need to redshirt that play, or they're not going to help. Everybody can play.
Is everyone physically ready to jump in now?
As of when I left today, as far as so we met this morning, and everybody was there. So, but yeah, no, I think we're. Brian Committ has done a great job, and they test tomorrow, and then they have 4 days off, I think.
Do you have kind of a ideal time when you would like to solidify the lineup, or are you just going to kind of feel it out?
It's a great question. I don't know. Used to say, let's go into non-conference and kind of work it out. But now you can't afford to lose a non-conference match because, we're trying to get to a point where we can host a regional or be in a position to do that. So you got to come out and hit the ground running. Plus, I think we have a pretty challenging non-conference schedule, and we're going to have to be ready for that. So it's just not like we're going to roll out different lineups all the time. But I'd like to see us get in some type of a lineup that we're playing in that first weekend.
Outside hitter is one of those positions, a lot of competition. Just kind of in general, how do you sort through and weigh and evaluate like the different parts of that job, whether it's defense, passing, terminating? Like, how do you kind of weigh all that to make a decision as far as who's going to play?
Yeah, well, you tier it. So who can play 6 rotations? That means they're doing everything really well. Okay, who can kill balls? Because then you can always take them out of the back row. Who's got a great serve and who can pass? And that usually is what's going to separate who plays and how many rotations and what position they're playing, whether we call it L1 or L2, next to the setter or 2 away from the setter. So, and then the last thing, I guess, would be who can kill out of the back row. So if you can kill balls out of the back row, you got a better chance to those 6 rotations. Now, the hard thing for me is we got a lot of people that can do a lot of that. So now who can do it the best? And so that's a lot of competition there.
And Merritt's played 6 rotations obviously in the past. Right? How does that change things, having an opposite that is able to play all the way around? What you've had?
That gives us the opportunity to run what's called a true, international system, or what the USA team does, or what they do internationally, which is, and the men do, is to have a true opposite that hits front row and back row. We've never done it before, so I love the system. Ohio State does it. Florida did it last year with Merritt. So we're thinking really hard about that.
Does that system allow you to play more of your outside hitters that are the opposite?
No, it's same. It just means you've got a kind of a designated back row hitter. So she doesn't have to worry about passing. We're just going to get her coming up somewhere out of the back row. So that's one thing we're doing to diversify our offense, is being able to hit out of the back row a couple of different positions. So on the left, the right, or the middle.
What do you think of Wisconsin's roster, what they had and then what they added with transfers?
They're loaded. So they returned a lot of people, and I'm surprised we're picked second. I mean, we literally graduated or moved. 6 starters moved on. So we're going to be a young team, but I also think we're a dangerous team. Like I said up there, I think we're going to be fearless, and these guys are going to go after it. They're super competitive. So that's, I told you guys this. I'd pay to watch practice. I mean, it's that good, how hard they go. So I think that's going to be a strength and overcome our experience maybe a little bit and our age.
And your camp, how comfortable are you with where you guys are defensively? I mean, you guys lost a lot of 3 key pieces from last year's team in terms of defense. So where do you guys feel like you're at in your camp?
Brazil really helped us understand what we're going to have to do, but defense, blocking, serving takes a lot of work, a lot of coordination. So we showed glimpses of being really good, but now we got to do it every night.
How have you seen Lainey kind of adjust to the college game and the time that you've seen her over the spring in Brazil?
Yeah, she's done a great job and adjusted really well. Her serve's gotten way better. The big thing for her is passing, and that's one of the great things about doing an international trip. We have to play with those blue and gold balls. They are hard to pass. I mean, there's balls literally sometimes we don't even touch them. They just drop out. So I think that's really helped her develop the mindset as a passer and what she has to do at this level. Because in high school and club, they don't get challenged like they do in college and playing with those blue and gold balls. So that was a great experience for her, for Harper, for Caroline, to understand how hard passing is.
With being able to, play and train in Brazil, have you seen Bergen? Do you think that she is further along than she would have been, and how have you seen her grow
No
over the months
question.
she's been here?
She's got 8 months under her belt now, and she looks really, really comfortable. She was really comfortable in Brazil. I put her in what I thought was our toughest match in Brazil, played her the whole match, because Kennedy's been in some big matches, so we had to throw her in there, and she did great. And even showed she got called in a double hit, like on the second ball, because she was nervous. I won't say what I say in front of them. So I've never seen her double. I mean, literally the ball, she just double hit it, probably quadruple hit it. And I'm like, what happened? She goes, I don't know. But then she was great. So it was nerves, We were playing against pros and Olympians, so ex-Olympians. So it was a big match, and we were in this little Cracker Box gym, and they brought in all the Army guys. So they were cheering in Brazil. I mean, it was wild, and it was really good for her. But game 5, she pulled it out, got it done.
How important is it for, especially your younger players, to get in that environment where it's a little more rowdy? They have playing against high competition. How important is that for them to prepare for the Big Ten and what's to come?
It's huge, especially with 5 new players. Merritt's been through big matches, but with 5 new players, for them to go through that and experience that gives me a lot of confidence that these freshmen are going to be able to play.
Have you ever seen, you mentioned that moment with Bergen, have you ever seen her uncomfortable other than that moment? Or she seems pretty cool and collected for the most part.
I'm trying to think, maybe if I drilled her on a question or something in front of everybody, she might be uncomfortable. But no, she reminds me of Bud Crawford. She's got the look, she's an assassin. So, but you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
She's got that look. I don't know if you guys watched that fight. It was an unbelievable fight. I've never paid pay-per-view in my life, and it was worth every penny. But just looked at his face. He was
Locked in.
he was locked in. And Bergen's really good at being on.
Nate's calling for you.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
All right, guys. Again, thanks for